Now, John, there's a reason why people want to have photographs with you. There's a reason why people want to have their babies photographed with you. You're one of the heroes. You're one of the OGs. You're one of the very first people. And specifically, and now I'm recording for the Aussie Wire. We're an Australian news media service. You gave up a career and you stepped into the unknown. When you stepped away from Fox News and you stepped into doing social media and trying to reach out to students. Why? What was it about that made you believe you could have a bigger impact on your own than what you could have within kind of the mainstream?
Well, I was stupid. My 30-year-old, 25-year-old son said, Dad, you don't need a network. You've got 1 million Twitter followers.
Yeah.
You can do this on your own. It was news to me. And Fox does live stuff.
Sure.
But these capitalist issues are complicated.
Mm-hmm.
I spend a month trying to edit stuff down to make the complicated simple.
Tell me about it.
It's what I'd done in 2020 before that. And Fox didn't really want that, so I went on my own, and that's working out. But I really the only courageous thing I did was years before when I said, I don't want to be the consumer reporter anymore bashing business. I want to celebrate free markets. And my bosses at ABC did not want that, but the audience did. And they said, they held their nose and let me do primetime specials.
So this is one of the funny things. We're here at the Students for Liberty conference in Washington, D.C. Behind us right now is the awards night. And John, your name is, of course, and deservedly coming up quite a lot tonight. Many people are giving you honor, and deservedly so. But as you just said, you felt that the powers that be didn't want to really explore these issues, and yet somehow the market perhaps had more tolerance to explore these issues than what you did. You stepped out into the social media world before a lot of other people did. What's been the result of that? Where are you now, having stepped into the unknown?
We make a video every week. We get about 2.5 million views, so we're reaching people.
Yeah.
I don't know what countries they're in, but if we can educate 1 or 2 people in India, say, or even Australia, that it's worth doing. And, I like being my own boss, so it wasn't that big a step.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Now, you mentioned educating people. You're focused particularly on students, younger people. That's really what your passion is. We've got Stossel in schools. No,
but
okay.
What good are we? We're going to die.
I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur. I'm older than I look.
So just as practical to try to reach young people.
Okay. So it's a matter of pragmatism for you that you want to try and reach them with that libertarian message.
Before their minds are made up.
What is a libertarian message for you? What does it mean to reach them with a libertarian message versus a statist or a capitalist or a communist or any of these other kind of competing ideals?
That we know what works, what makes a few countries prosperous. Australia, New Zealand, though they're screwing that up.
We are.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Hong Kong is the best example. Went from poverty to wealth until the Chinese took full control and are starting to wreck that.
Yeah.
Economic freedom and rule of law allow people to have better lives. And how outrageous that idiots in Australia and elsewhere don't get that.
All right. I'm going to put you on the spot. And for the record, this is not a question with notice. This is a question without notice. What then do you make of Argentina? What do you make of Javier Milei? He says the right things. He appears, in my opinion, to be trying to do the right things. Do you think that Argentina is going to become an example of what can happen with free markets, or do you think there's a flaw there?
Oh, I hope it is. I don't see the flaw. This guy's the real deal. He
seems to be.
His dogs after libertarian economists. And he went to the World Economic Forum and made it right-on speech. I agree with him as far as I know about everything.
We reported on that at the Aussie Wire. That's where I'm from. I'm not wearing the shirt because we're at the awards dinner tonight. I dressed up. I've got the tie. I've got the... Oh, no, I don't have the pocket square. I have the pocket square. There it is. So I'm not wearing the Aussie Wire t-shirt tonight. But Javier Milei, you're right, he appears to be the real deal. How did he end up being elected? When we've seen so many libertarian candidates in the US, we've seen so many people in other places try and fail. What was the secret for Javier Milei?
Because Argentina has gone from one of the richest countries in the world to
Late
one of the poorest,
1800s,
and people
yeah.
are pissed off. And here comes this guy who articulates free market ideas well, which is so rare.
Yeah.
I can't think of an Australian politician or an American politician.
I would love
does it
to
as well
disagree
as he
with you, but I
does.
can't. Yeah.
And they're failures, in my opinion.
All right. So, John, you made the decision to sacrifice a very, very successful career on the risk of stepping out into the free market and articulating free market ideals, as you've just said.
You said that before. I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't sacrifice it. The
You
main
risked it.
networks
At the very
were
least,
dying.
you risked it.
I did take a risk.
You risked
That's
it.
true.
Okay. So tell me about that decision.
I said to Rupert Murdoch via email, look, you got a lot of people who can do live TV.
Sure.
My specialty is editing. Let me do fewer live shows and go back to the carefully edited pieces I did on ABC News in America, which you first hired me for.
And I've watched some of, yes.
And he said, why don't you do no live shows? And you can do some of this. And anyway, he didn't want to do that. So I did it on my own.
So you're leading in exactly the right direction. What I want to dig into, as someone who is in the alternative media, I've been a political commentator since 2009, 15 years, right? I genuinely want to know, what was the thought process that went into you going, I'm going to walk away from Rupert Murdoch and all of that audience and all of that reach and all of the prestige that comes with that, and I'm going to focus on what I believe in. What was that thought process?
I mean, Fox let me do what I believed in.
Okay.
They wanted tonnage of live stuff, which
The volume of content.
Right. And I wasn't giving up much. I'm an old guy. I've earned enough money. I didn't need the money.
Yeah.
And fame by staying at Fox? No, their audience was diminishing. A lot of the people who are watching may be dead or asleep. They get old people.
Yes.
The stupidity in the world. You got these in Honduras, a new government, where you've got the Prospera Project. Does your audience know about that? It was like a free experiment on a place with libertarian principles.
Yeah.
And they're doing well. And it doesn't take away from Honduras. But they elect a new idiot woman who says, oh, this is taking away our sovereignty. And somehow by their getting rich, we're losing something.
Yeah.
They continue to win.
Yeah. And it's such a fascinating thought experiment against Argentina with Javier Milei. Watching what's happening with some of these other South American countries, I think is going to be kind of the practical thought experiment of my generation, at the very least, if not a younger generation, to see the divergence between those different groups.
But do people learn? Like in Chile, they set up a private social security system.
Right.
It made the country rich. It made almost everybody more prosperous.
Right.
20 years down the road, the new government says, we need to throw all this out.
No one has learned anything. Okay, so with that in mind then, I'm 41, right? I'm guessing, a little bit older than 41. I'm not going to guess what you are, but you're older than 41. So then where do you...
Older than 51, I'm 61.
Where do you...
And 71.
Oh, goodness. No, stop. I can't handle any further. Where do you find your hope then? If you're looking at a place like Honduras and saying, you are so close, why do you keep going? Where do you find your hope to keep up this fight?
I'm disappointed all the time. I don't know that I'm that hopeful, but it's all of our duty, those of us who get it, to say, life can suck for people if these socialists win.
Yeah.
It's our moral responsibility to try to explain capitalism.
Yeah. So I have an expression, and I want to run it past you to see whether you agree, whether you disagree, argue as much as you need to, okay? We are not responsible for the outcomes. We're only responsible for our actions. If we do everything we can, then that is as much as we can do. Whether that leads to more freedom or less freedom is really beyond our pay grade. Do you agree with that concept? Do you disagree?
I mean, that sounds healthy. We can't fix everything. That's as far, sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
All right.
But I want to fix everything, and we should keep trying.
Yeah. I think we are responsible for our actions. We're responsible for what we do or what we choose not to do. So, John, you were one of the OGs, in my opinion. This is me talking. I'm not asking you to agree or disagree.
What's an OG?
The original. All right. The OG is the original. You were one of the people.
Guys?
Yeah. You were one of the original people that stepped away from a successful career in the media and said, no, I want to make a difference, not just have a career, right? Was it worth it? Would you trade anything now?
No. I'm working for myself. It's much better.
Right. So you've got John Stossel in schools, you've got John Stossel, and you've got a couple of other sort of contexts in which your content is being used. What do you look at as being, on a day-to-day basis, you sit in the studio, you record another video, and you go, yes, that was worth it. What is it for you that really gets you going?
Exactly that. That was worth it. Like this week's was on Malay. We explained some of his ideas. It's one of the videos doing very well. So quickly 400,000 people have watched, and some of them will say, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes it worthwhile. And the wonder of the internet, if the stuff stays out there and YouTube ships it around, so in 2 years, a couple million people will have seen that and maybe opened their brains.
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, the internet means that this interview, plus obviously much more so the other work that you've done, the Aussie Wire, sadly, relatively new channel, not a lot of viewers. So if you're watching, thank you so much. So John, last question. What's the legacy that you would like to leave? You're a man who really is in that legacy position where you've got so much influence, so many people listen, whether you like it or not. So many people listen.
I like it.
So many people listen to what you have to say. What's the message that you would like to leave? Okay, I'm 41 years old. I'm relatively speaking in my prime. I'm ready to go. What is it that you would say to me personally to try and make a difference in the world?
Let's explain free markets to leave people a little more free and a lot more prosperous.
Yeah. Nice and simple. I like it. Well, Aussie Wire viewers, this is John Stossel. If you don't know his work, we're going to put all the links in the description. John, what a pleasure. What an absolute honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.